I decided to turn my old rowboat into a bass boat. First, I had to tear it apart and design the new layout and start construction, framing it out, riveting, adding reinforcement, building compartments, beautifying with a little bit of paint, prepping for wiring and plumbing, framing for a new floor, building an oversized live well, running drainage for everything, running heavy wires for the trolling motors, filling all the gaps with flotation foam, and then the final details. And now she's ready for the water, where we can really appreciate all the added benefits of all these lockers and storage spaces. And that was almost 3 years ago, and this is what she looks like now. Everything that the Florida weather could throw at her has damaged her. It's time for a total refit. Also, I have issues wherever there was any pressure on the hatch lids, like this spring, it just kind of bowed it up in the heat. Both of these are in pretty bad shape. And the weirdest thing, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a weird hump right there and right there. Got to be one or two things. Either the PVC deck material heated up and expanded in that open area and turned into like a little ball, or that two-part flotation foam just kept expanding in the heat and pushed the deck up. So we're going to find out, because we're going to pull that section of deck off. The front is perfect, and the back, besides being pretty dirty, is almost as nice as when I first made it. The cockpit floor is done for, and my biggest regret is this piece of crap. So don't buy these. This was like, I think it was like $26. 5 switches, and it's got USB. It makes it look like something worth having, but within 3 months, all the switches crapped out. And the only switch that works is this one, because I replaced it. So that's got to go. So last time I gave you an update on the condition of the boat, I told you I was going to go ahead and work on it down there at the dock, because I was going to use a lithium power station to power my power tools. But the reality is that it's way too dependent on weather, and I need to get some progress done on this thing and not worry about the rain. Now, I hauled this thing up and left it in the shallows because we had a hurricane and a couple big storms, and I just didn't want to have to deal with it swamped. If the bilge pump failed, I don't worry about it sinking because it's unsinkable. It has so much flotation foam in it, and it feels kind of stuck in the mud. First, we'll get the remaining water out of it. It wasn't much, but enough to make it heavy. So we got to come up with a way to get this thing out of the water, through all this underbrush, and all the way up 200 yards to my shop. All right, I got all the heavy stuff out. All right, so let me show you what my plan is. I'm gonna take this kayak trailer that I built a few years ago, and I'm gonna strip it back, and we're gonna make it temporarily a jumbo trailer. It's time to visit the scrap wood pile. These 2 pieces of fence railing are going to work perfect. This old trailer winch was part of this trailer like 30 years ago when it used to be a little sunfish sailboat trailer, and I stored this thing like underneath the shed. It's a little rough, but I think I can get it to work. I happen to have all these bolts laying around. I mean, I've actually not had to go out and buy anything. All right, we're ready to go. Got to hook up the tractor. I'm gonna go ahead and grease up these bunks, just the top edge, so hopefully it'll slide on it and won't teeter around too much. Got the little rollers, hopefully that will get the bow started up. Just gotta haul it down there, but I'm gonna wait till the sun gets a little lower. It's hot as heck. Now it's just a matter of strapping it down and hauling it back up to the shop. My little roller ramp worked perfect. Check it out, this thing failed right at the end. Look at that, the outer flange of this thing is just absolutely rusted through. Now she's in front of my shop and ready to do the long-awaited refit on this thing. So it's been a few days since I got this thing up from the lake, but realistically it's been so beautiful out, I haven't wanted to work on this. I've been out there fishing and doing a little sailing actually on my sailboat. Today we're going to dig into this. We're going to do a full demo, at least of the deck. We'll be taking up all this EVA foam that, well, is wanting to come up anyway, and definitely taking off all the hatch lids. And you can see how bowed these things have gotten. And then we'll dig into this to find out what's causing this to actually bulge up. So I'm going to go ahead and just drill out all these rivets. And you know, lots of folks are intimidated with rivets because they're always afraid to have to take them out. And taking them out means drilling them out. But realistically, as long as you have the right size bit, it's a piece of cake. All right, pretty easy. So just let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more to go. All right, that's the last of them. And I'll take off all the latches and all the other hardware. The next step is to take all this EVA foam off the deck, and we'll get a better look at what actually went wrong. All right, that's the last of that crap decking material. And I gotta say, the only place it was really stuck well was anywhere where it was hidden from the sun. But let me show you the really weird part. Check this out. This thing has like dual humps on both the starboard and port side. And you can see there's like about 3/8 of an inch here. And then look at that. Across the middle here between the two humps, it's like an inch. And then between these two humps, it's at least an inch and a quarter. So my theory was originally that since this area has the most of that expansion foam, that foam continued to expand after it got in the sun and bulged up all this stuff. My other theory is that since these two panels here are contained with rivets all the way around the edge and down the middle, that the PVC board actually expanded through thermal expansion, and since it didn't have anywhere to go, it just sort of bulged up. But I got a feeling it's the foam. We'll see if my feeling's right. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off, and we'll see if the foam is expanded as well, then we know it was the foam. If the foam is down where I originally had it down cut flush, then we know the PVC is the culprit. So right about now, a lot of you are probably asking, why in the world did you use rivets and not just screw this deck material down? Well, the reason is that all my framing is aluminum, and I would have to use stainless steel screws. And stainless steel and aluminum do not play well together. When you pair aluminum and stainless steel, the aluminum loses. It tends to oxidize very quickly, turns into that white powder, and you end up with loose deck boards. And I didn't want that. So it was rivets, because the rivets are aluminum. Let's see what we got down here. Looks like my original theory was right. This stuff expanded up beyond where I had cut it flush. So it's just a matter of cutting it flush again, and when I put my new deck board, I won't have that problem again. But yeah, these things swelled up quite a bit. Look at that. That is why I should be wearing gloves. Look at that mess. That gets you in the right spot, it'll ruin your day. So I'd really like to know what you guys think. What do you think I should use for the deck? I know plywood is the typical thing to use, but do you guys have any other ideas? And mostly, I want some better ideas for what to cover the deck with. Now, I was thinking of getting the really expensive, the real stuff, the EVA foam, the C-deck stuff, but that stuff is so expensive. Plus, I got a sort of a bad taste in my mouth using this stuff. I don't want to have to redo it in 3 years again. So I was thinking carpet, but I know carpet doesn't have the longest lifespan either. But I was also thinking pickup truck bed liner coating. It comes in like 1 part and 2 part. I don't know if anybody's ever used it. Let me know if you've got experience with it. I'm thinking I put down the plywood, I seal everything really well, cover all the crevices, and then paint it with that stuff. What do you guys think? I really appreciate any input from folks out there who have done it and made mistakes and done it better. So it's time for a trip to the local home improvement store. Do a little research on the prices of some of the materials that I'm thinking of using. But before I get too much sticker shock, let me just say thank you to everybody who's been watching. And if you've made it this far in the video, you should probably be subscribed. And definitely click on that like button. And if you want to see the videos that show the complete build of Illumina from the very beginning, then click on this video. And if you want to subscribe, you can click on this icon. Mother